Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Daniel and I'm the High Mileage Helper. On this channel, my goal is to be able to help you learn more about the RV transporting industry, as well as give how-to videos for your truck and then give recommendations along the way. So this is our first time meeting. Just consider subscribing, hitting the like button if you get good value. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the signs, the symptoms, and the failure of a wheel hub assembly. And lastly, I'll just be sharing my most recent experience with my wheel hub assembly failing on me. So we'll go ahead and get right into the video. So the first thing that you're probably going to notice if your wheel hub assembly is starting to go out on you is just the sense of your hearing. You're going to start hearing some either growling noises, some grinding noises, even a spooling up type of from lower to higher pitch, kind of a rumbling kind of a noise, and then also coming down again from that higher speed down to a lower. You're going to hear that kind of rumbling noise, and it's going to be consistent. So that's not going to be like your brake pads are being pinched or something's off with your brakes. It's going to be a consistent thing no matter what you're doing. That's probably going to be your first sign. You're going to be hearing these things constantly, and it's going to get your attention fairly quickly because that is not a normal thing to happen. Another thing that's going to be a sign or a symptom for your wheel hub assembly going out is going to be your steering being loose. Now, it's going to be a little bit of a different type of loose feeling. It's not going to be, your track bar is rocking back and forth, and the whole axle essentially is wobbling back and forth. It's going to be kind of a sputtering type of a feel as you're driving down the road. One side is going to be a little bit more stable than the other, and so when you're going down the road, that side is going to be a little looser, and it's going to feel like, should I get an alignment? I probably don't need one right now, but it's going to be that type of a feel where you think, you're going to be questioning, should I be getting an alignment? Is there something loose? Something's wrong? That may be your wheel hub assembly going out with that loose steering. Another aspect of the steering component, this would be number 3, is your steering actually pulls a little bit one way or the other. So if your wheel hub assembly is essentially going out on you, what that means is the wheel is not actually straight. It's fighting itself, trying to wobble back and forth, and eventually it will lean all the way inward, from the top being more towards the inside and the bottom being more to the outside. It's going to be leaning like that, but while you're driving down the road, you might experience a wobbling type of thing, which is going to direct you to one side or the other as you're turning or going down the straight road. Another symptom that can be a part of this is long-term tire wear. If you have inside tire wear, if you've had an alignment done, your ball joints are good, your track bar is good, and you have tire wear that's irregular. It's on the outside, it's on the inside, where essentially your tire is actually more on the outside. It's not on in the inside. Your PSI is good, and yet your tire is rubbing on the inside and outside at the same time. That essentially is showing you that it's wobbling back and forth. And so that's the real problem with your wheel hub assembly. It's kind of a slow death in some cases. Some cases they're done. The bearings inside they're toast. But in my experience, a symptom of that is going to be you're going to start seeing that long-term tread on the inside and outside, and that can also go in. The PSI is with that as well. That it's a little more difficult to track down, but that is one of the symptoms for your wheel hub assembly going out. And one of the last symptoms that kind of gives it a dead giveaway as a wheel hub assembly going out on you is if you were to jack up your truck on the side that's closest to the side that you think is going bad, and if you were to jack it up, get the tire off the ground, and then shake it from 3 to 9 o'clock, shake it back and forth, wobbling back and forth. If you have play there, then that's going to be your wheel hub assembly. If you have play up and down at 12 and 6, then that is more of an indication for your ball joints. So those are the kind of the differences between the angles. But if you have wear there, if you try to spin the tire and as it's off the ground and you hear a constant grinding noise, it's not just regular, your brake pad slightly touching it or something like that. If it's significant, then that's a real dead giveaway that that's a symptom of your wheel hub assembly going out on you. So one of the very first things that is going to be a symptom of a failure of a wheel hub assembly, or the start to the end of the life of the wheel hub assembly, is simply going to be your ABS light staying on after you've done your key cycle through to start up the truck. It stays on, but then you put it in drive and you start driving down the road. If it eventually goes away, that's a good indication that that is going to be a problem in the near future. Your hub assembly is desperately your hub assembly is on its way out. Failure is near. I believe the reason for that ABS light staying on is that the sensor that goes into the actual wheel hub assembly, there's a magnet there, and it's able to pick up any metal fragments that are spinning through there as it's going through every rotation. And I believe the reason for that is that that sensor that goes into the wheel hub assembly, that's supposed to be able to measure the rate of rotations that your tire is going through, that your whole wheel is going through. And so if it can't pick it up because there's metal fragments on the end of that sensor there, that's going to be blocking all of the information it needs to be able to get. So your truck's not going to allow you to have cruise control on if you're having more resistance on one side or the other, and it can't pick up exactly how fast that wheel is turning. So that's a safety feature about this, but your ABS system is going to be the indicator light that's going to tell you, hey, there's something really blocking. There's the sensor's not able to read it correctly, and there is a problem in that wheel hub assembly. So the rest of these are really going to be fairly imminent things. This is things where you literally have not miles but maybe feet before you need to pull off and get out of danger before you are going to have a complete failure. So the next on the list of an absolute failure, and these are the things that all kind of work together to show you this is exactly what the real problem is. So number 2 is simply going to be if you have cruise control on, or if you try to put cruise control on, it will maybe stay on there for about 10 seconds, 5 seconds. It will turn itself off, which is a very unusual thing to do. That's going to get your attention. You're going to start slowing down. And so cruise control turning itself off is going to be number 2. That means that it is far beyond being able to milk it maybe all the way home, a couple 100 miles or 100 miles. You have feet or maybe a couple miles. It's about to be over for this wheel hub assembly, and it's begging for mercy. So that's number 2. Number 3 is going to be that your ABS light, as you're traveling down the road without your ABS light on, that it turns on. And usually the cycle that it kind of goes through is your cruise control maybe is on, it turns off, and then within a matter of feet or seconds, the ABS light will turn on and it will stay on. And that is another indication that your wheel hub assembly has failed. That sensor inside the wheel hub assembly can no longer pick up the rotations of the wheel. The magnet has picked up so much debris because it's internally kind of imploding on itself that it can't do anything else, and it's simply telling the computer, hey, I can't go on. And so it kicks into the safety mechanism to turn off the cruise control, alert you that there's a problem with your wheel, with that whole area there, and for you to turn off and get off the highway. So the next thing after that cruise control turns off, your ABS light turns on, is going to be your, on the side, whether it's on the left or on the right, you're going to be experiencing, seeing some smoke probably, whether it's smoke or you're going to smell it. It's one of the two. Smoke, and then actually smelling the metal on metal contact rubbing more and more and more. You're going to probably see it and smell it at about the same time, and so that's going to be the next step. So hopefully by now you're obviously off the road. Please get off to a safe place, hopefully not just the shoulder, but somewhere, a truck stop or anywhere nearby a big parking lot, to where you can be safely off the road. When you do stop, do not go out and start touching things, because there can be multiple points of heat contact. It's going to be extremely hot. So you don't want to burn any of your fingers as you're trying to poke around and see what's going on. You're going to smell it. You're going to see probably the smoke. And you'll probably see, depending on how bad it is that you're going to see your tire is going to be tilted a little bit one way or the other, and that's going to be fairly noticeable. And it's at this point that you're really going to see, listen, cruise control turned off, ABS light is on, smoking, grinding noises, all this stuff put together. That's your wheel hub assembly. I've not heard of all of those symptoms together, it being anything different than that. That's been my experience every time it's happened, the 3 times that it's happened to me. And I've also experienced additional to this, and this was, I think, an extreme case for me, where my actual lug nut and my lug bolt, one of them actually sheared off and flew as I was driving down the road. My wheel was turned in so deeply. The only thing holding on my rotor and that whole assembly on to my truck was my caliper mount. Was grinding so deeply and cutting into my rotor so bad that it was just that bad of a failure. And so that's been my experience. Let me know in the comments down below if you've seen anything else that kind of goes along with this. Maybe it's a little different with a different type of truck. Again, mine's a Ram 3500 2012. So that might be a little bit different for different makes and models, but this is essentially what happens when your wheel hub assembly goes out on you driving down the road. And so lastly, I just wanted to share with you, if you stuck out this video this long, I just want to say thank you. But my experience this last time was, if you actually saw it, I made a video talking about all the parts that you need to keep on hand in your truck. And you know, I had all the parts here on the hood here, and I talked about, hey, you need to keep these parts in your truck, and it's very important to have. Well, after I did that, I did a few other little small things working on my truck. I had my tools in here, and I had my tools that I left in here in my garage, and then I left all of those parts that I had just told you guys to keep in your truck at all times. I forgot because I had just made the video and I was doing other things, and so I left all of those parts in my truck here. Well, that was about 2 weeks ago. I hadn't thought of it since. I had gone out on a couple trips, and this most recent trip that I went on, I went down to Kentucky, and I was going through Ohio, and you know, I know the signs and symptoms. I know the failure. I've seen it before. It's happened in New York. It's happened in Massachusetts to me. These do last quite a while, but we put a lot of miles on very quickly. And so I thought, you know what would be hilarious? I was talking to a friend on the phone. You know what would be hilarious is if I needed one of those parts that I just told everybody you need to keep in your truck. And I don't have any of my tools. I don't have anything at all. And so what do you know? I ended up having my cruise control on. My ABS light sensor had turned on at the startup of the truck previously, and I'm thinking, ooh, okay, so we're getting close there. You know what? I'm just going to try to make it home, and I've got everything there. You know, it'll be all right if I get it home. That'll just be great, and you know, I won't have to go through all this trouble. Well, on that trip, my cruise control turned off, the ABS light sensor turned on, and then I literally look outside my driver's side window, and I see smoke coming, and then I smell it almost at the same time. And I just started laughing when I saw that, because I thought the irony, and this is just so hilarious of a situation. I just told everybody to do this, and then I don't follow my own advice, and then I get myself into this pickle where I have no way to do it myself, and it's just a huge headache. And so for me, I pulled off to the shoulder. I got out, checked it out. Yeah, my tire is a little slanted to the inside. I can see the smoke still coming out from the internals of that hole behind the rotor, inside the rotor there. Looking through the dust cover and everything, and I'm like, yeah, this is definitely it. This is kind of ridiculous. I wish I would have remembered to actually pull everything, you know, back into my truck after recording that video, but I did not, and so I ended up was able to get it to a Walmart parking lot, and I had a friend who I was about 4 hours away from home. I had a good friend of mine. He offered to come, you know, break into my garage and pick up all of my tools And the part, since I had the part here, and the crazy thing is I paid about half price online for that wheel hub assembly, and I got it priced out where I was nearby for $308 instead of like $140. And so it's just crazy. The price of preemptive versus after the fact is just crazy. So my good buddy ended up driving 4 hours to come and rescue me with all of my tools and the actual part. And I ended up forgetting that I didn't have the correct socket for the axle nut to be able to get that pulled off. And so I had to wait the next day to be able to buy that part and a few other things I'd forgotten to have him grab for me. But anyways, it's just kind of hilarious for me. There's some situations it takes a while to be able to start laughing about. But for me, man, I've been laughing since day one, because it's just so funny to me that I literally said, hey, you need to do this, and then I don't do it myself. And it's just so ironic, and it's such a dumb thing to happen that I would end up having to go through that. But I'm so very grateful for my friend who came and rescued me. Thank you, Matt. And he saved my bacon out there. Otherwise, I would have had to buy either all brand new tools to be able to do the job, or worse, have somebody else do the job. Me maybe be taken for a ride financially, and me not really trust their work and have to kind of go through and just make sure that they did things right. Because to be honest, I don't really trust a whole lot of people. Anyways, it's just an interesting situation to be in. And please learn from my absolute failure and keep the parts on hand. Keep everything you need with you. You're going to save money. You're going to save time. You're not going to inconvenience other people. And you're not going to be taken for a ride, hopefully financially, with this kind of a situation. So with all that being said, thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day today, and we'll see you next time. God bless, guys.